Ah yes, Scratch. An amazing platform for people to get started with coding or game development. I mean, you can make sounds, art and of course code all in one platform. And all of that through amazingly intuitive UI. A few years ago, when I was around 10, I got my first PC as a present for Christmas. I had so much fun with this thing. My whole childhood was centered around it. I started playing computer games with my friends, watched videos and also started making games. Yes, it really was that early for me. I was literally obsessed with Scratch. I thought, what could be cooler than making your own game? Then I figured out that there is nothing cooler than that, and it's still my favorite hobby to this day. Yay! Well anyway, let's move on from the story that no one cares about, and now let's answer the question nobody asks. What will happen if I remake my first bigger game from scratch years later? Will we see an actual development? Hopefully. Will it be significant? Hopefully. Will I make voice lines again?
This is just the beginning.
Absolutely not. Also, if you want to check out the remade game, then click on the first link in the description, which will lead you to the itch.io page. And of course, it's free. The Scratch game is also in the description, if you want to punish yourself.
Hey, please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what you see so we can see us in the future again. And let's try to hit 10 likes in the first day of this video.
Literally, no one will ever see you again.
Unlike my dad, I'll be back.
No one likes you.
Every second you're not running, I'm only getting closer.
I doubt that. So let's have an in-depth look at the mess I created a few years back. First of all, it was called Escape My Eyes and was about apparently you are trapped in an old Game Boy and you have to defeat an evil AI. Very original. And actually it has some similarities to the masterful game Undertale, because it's only about dodging. The game itself is actually pretty nicely designed. We have voice lines.
Now I'm gonna start to eliminate you.
We have screen shake, creative obstacles, even a boss battle.
I will now unleash my full power. Boss form is activated.
Was zum Fick ist das denn?
This is...
However, there are many things that are extremely quirky. So let's make the metaphorical masterpiece an actual masterpiece. I am very obsessed with dungeons and also very goofy games like my main project Down Down Die. So the art style I chose was comical and Paper Mario-like. And then I started drawing. I decided to turn the player into a knight and the boss into a stinky fat red king. And here's the new story. You are a knight who is a pacifist and does not use weapons, obviously. However, you once fell into a cave and collected a coin, which turns out to be the beloved treasure of Bob the Red King. He tries to kill you with a super strong attack, but due to your amazing dodging skills, you can barely escape the attack. This makes Bob angry. And then he decides to play World War Simulator and throws everything he has at you. You survive everything he throws at you and he will die from a heart attack due to exhaustion. If not, well then you die. Yeah, if you haven't noticed it already, the game is not serious and just a result of me goofing around and having fun for 3 days. Now let's start with the process of me making the game. Starting off, I had to make some movement, which was very easy and just took a few minutes. In addition, I wanted to implement a new skill, so it's not just moving up, down, right and left. This skill was a dodging roll. If you press space, the knight makes a roll in the movement direction. This also activates a shield which protects you from any projectiles. Then I made a battleground, which consisted out of a tile map, a stone and a glowing border. Fancy as fuck. And then I made a physical border with colliders and made a system for the interaction between the player and the border, which includes bouncing off of it. Then Bob had to come and introduce himself. And I made some animations. I figured that Bob's shabbiness is caused by a lack of movement, so I made a flying throne, which kinda reminded me of the plot from WALL-E. Then I made the opening sequence that I already used to explain the story, and also made some speaking sounds instead of voice lines. Great, now it was time for the obstacles. The first one is what I call a Dorito. It spawns somewhere at the border and flies in a straight line. If it hits you, it deals damage. I also made some HP UI for the player. The second attack, or second obstacle, was a laser, which was a huge improvement to the laser in Escape My Eyes. And then it was time to... The third attack was something that actually surprised me by how well it was designed back then, because it was a falling stone. This forces the player to move at all times and not just camp in a safe space. This makes the game insanely hard, especially if the stones fall every 2 seconds. The last base attack that I remade was the bomb. It is just like in Bombman and explodes in all 4 directions. This is like a stronger laser, but therefore also rarer. Something else that absolutely baffled me by how well it was designed and thought through is the flashbang effect the bombs have on the player. So I also made that, but now with a really impactful sound and a flashbang. I don't know whether anyone saw the heart item in Escape My Eyes. Well, I made that too. Amazing. Hey you, there's a Discord server, you know? And if you visit me and all my friends there, then you'll deserve yourself a treat. Yes, it's true, everyone on my Discord server is now allowed to spend their free time to playtest Down Down Die for no reward whatsoever. If you're interested, then click on the link in the description. Thanks a lot. Anyway, now let's move on to the boss mode. In the old game it was very weird, to say the least. The AI turned into a stickman and used 2 other sticks on its hands to shoot Doritos and a rotating laser. Since I did not want to put weird sticks on the rat's hands, I gave it some turrets. First, there is Edward, the turret. He shoots sharper Doritos directly in your direction. And then there is a laser turret named Idiot. Because despite having eyes, it is notoriously bad at aiming at you. This is why it just shoots randomly. By the way, I did not just make up these names, I actually name my game objects this way. Also, I told you Bob dies of a heart attack, which again is underlined by a silly sequence and the sounds. Okay, this was all fun and games, but now watch me commit copyright violations. In the old game I used the music I got from the asset folder of a cracked Geometry Dash version, and I was more or less freed from any concerns via copyrights. I probably didn't even know that it's illegal to steal other people's hard work, and I did it again. Well, more or less. I found an amazing artist on YouTube called White Bed Audio, and they made a whole lot of cyberpunk music, which is hella epic. The description, however, said it doesn't have any copyrights. Nonetheless, I know that if I'd used this in a commercial project, I'd be fine. That's why I gave them an all-time visible credit text within the game, which shows the name of the artist and the title, so that they can't complain. Also, the game's free to play, lol. Well, and with that, the music was in place. And the game was pretty much done. Just some UI, some settings like a switch for endless or non-endless mode later, and it was finished. And here we go, we have ourselves a finished game. Yay! To conclude, I'd say that I can see a definite development, especially in my sense for art. If you like what you see, then go to itch.io. I don't really have anything left to say, instead of the fact that you should subscribe if you enjoy me, since we are very close to 500 subscribers, which makes me really happy. Also, much love to the inner circle. Bye bye!